Hello everyone, this is Victoria Wolf from the Honors 360 class, and here's my presentation on applying Jane Jacobs' concepts from her book to our tours of New York City. So to start with, for the concept of the use of neighborhoods, I'm going to be looking at Christopher Street and Greenwich Village. So Christopher Street embodies the concept of the street neighborhood, which is made up of the people that live on a specific street with no real boundaries of where the neighborhood starts or ends. It kind of depends on who you ask. But the street neighborhood is a successful one due to the fact that it employs the public networks that are shown within Jane Jacobs' book and is a lively and interesting neighborhood to be in. So due to the fact that it has so many shops and has such a diverse community already, it draws people in to visit the community that adds to the diversity. And the neighborhood itself is way better off than it would be if it was a more private, closed-off community where it only really allows people to be there that are decided on as fitting in there and as being a part of that neighborhood. And the neighborhood also embodies the concept of the special interest group, which is normally on the plane of the city level, but has to do with the fact that people from that group will travel all over to be with other people in that group. And Christopher Street, due to the fact of the Stonewall Inn and the rich history of the LGBTQ community in the area, embodies that special interest group as being where people from that group will come to be. People will go to see how visibly prideful and how visibly strong the community is in that area. Next is the use of neighborhood parks through Christopher Park. So Christopher Park is located between Christopher Street and Grove Street on this little triangular piece of land. It is a small park, so it does embody the use of giving a break to the cityscape. It breaks up the monotony of the concrete, the steel, the brickwork of the city, and offers something that's pleasing to the eye. But the park itself is not a very successful park, according to Jacobs' concepts, due to the fact that it only has 2 of the 4 elements of an intensely used, good, positive, successful park. It's not a dangerous park as listed in the book, but due to the fact that it lacks intricacy because it's so small and lacks centering, the park itself doesn't really get much foot traffic. People don't spend their time there. It's really just an empty area. Lastly is the use of sidewalks in Greenwich Village. So the use of sidewalks goes for the concepts of safety and contact within this area. So for the use of safety, as noted before, Christopher Street and the streets around it are a very lively sort of street area. And because of this, the streets are constantly full of people. There's constantly people walking around, looking around. There's tourists. There's the local people. There's people that live in other parts of the city but wanted to visit for the day. So the streets are never empty, and there's always eyes on the street. That makes the street so much safer than it would be if the street was desolate and empty and no one was there. And due to the fact that there are so many bars, clubs, restaurants in the area, there's always people out even late into the night, so the streets are always under watch. And the streets have also to do with the use of contact in a city in the sense that because of those different places to be, because of the fact that the streets are safe, people will go to those different shops and restaurants. People will just hang out outside and walk around, and it gives people a chance to have that interpersonal contact without having to give up their privacy. And it gives a way for the community to have a sense of identity and a sense of actual togetherness that bolsters the safety even further. The only downside to the use of sidewalks and further use for contact is the fact that, as mentioned in the book, rich people enjoy street life and will tend to move into an area, stay for a few years, and then leave once the atmosphere doesn't draw them in anymore. And this is seen in Greenwich Village because there's a lot of debate and a lot of issues that people have with the idea of the area being gentrified and people raising the price of the rent as more and more rich people move in and as there's more and more just draw to the area. And that is my presentation. Thank you very much for sitting and listening to me ramble. I'm pretty sure this is longer than it's supposed to be, but y'all are used to me going on forever by this point. So thank you again for listening.